every day you're born with two gifts, or you wake up with two gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a chance and a choice. God always gives us these two
Absolutely.
gifts. Every
Amen.
day. And so you got a chance to wake up this morning. You made the cut, you know. And then two, you got a choice to, you know, either dwell on negative things that happened yesterday or positive things and get the money.
It was like a $60K deal
Yeah.
that was happening. And it literally, it felt like I knew it was going to take the agency to the next level. I knew it. At the time, I honest to God, it felt like it was a test.
My mom always said, like, I know, like, you care about being online, but make sure you're still happy in real life.
God, I'm listening. I'm listening. You know what I mean? Whatever you're telling me to do, I'm going to do. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to just do it because I know you're going to guide me in the right direction. You know what I mean? I'm just following your plan. Whatever your plan is, whatever time you want me to be great or whatever time, I'm going to listen to you. You know what I mean? So that's really helped a lot in my life.
One thing I'm excited about in the car industry is, like, I hate electric cars.
Yo, welcome back to the rawest corner in the culture, where fitness meets fashion, money meets mindset, and we all got something going on.
Yes, sir.
Back today, episode 6.
Episode 6. Yes, sir.
Of the No Days Offline podcast.
Yes, sir.
Nico T and my boy Costa in the back.
Yes, sir. Today would be considered a part 2.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Part
yes.
if you guys did not hear episode 5, please go back. You'll hear part 1. This is a duo that you guys definitely have to stick around and hear more about.
Absolutely. And it's all love, man. So what we do here, man, and we gonna tune y'all in. We do here, we want you to introduce yourself because we are big on talking that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So today we got the second half of Boredom Kills, everybody.
There you go.
The founder.
Brandon, the founder.
The founder, the creator of Boredom Kills.
Say one of the founders.
One of the founders. Okay, the
One of the-
creator. We'll do the creator. We'll do the creator, and then founding is different. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The GOAT, man.
So Brandon.
Yep.
What's
Boredom
up,
Brando. How you guys feeling today?
Chilling, bro. God is good, bro.
Good.
So, yep, Boredom Brando. I grew up a military brat, so I moved everywhere and consistently had to find ways to escape my boredom, which is where Boredom Kills comes from. I got ADD. I just cannot sit still. So whether it was me becoming an amateur pro skater or me picking up soccer, drawing, painting, whatever it was, I just had to do something. So Boredom Kills came from just my lifestyle, just never being able to sit down, never been able to, you know, just do nothing. I'm always figuring something out. I remember the duct tape wallets back in the 2000s.
Damn, I remember those.
selling those.
Yeah, bro. You're selling duct tape wallets?
Selling duct tape
Fire.
wallets. One of my homies, my best friend, he got a new bed one day, broke it, and I had this random idea. I was like, wait, we could make a skate park. So we made a skate park, and like just that in itself is just, that's me. Like if anything, if anything, I'm just gonna be doing some crazy stupid stuff like every day.
I love that, bro. It's crazy because, like, I don't know you skateboarder. We can relate in that. I skateboarded growing up. Yeah, bro. One of my good friends, he was actually a team manager for Zoo York.
Oh, that's
that's
crazy.
good.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so growing up in New York, we used to go down to the Zoo York warehouse, or like
Yeah.
I said warehouse, but they were in Flatiron. They had their own building. And I remember, bro, we go
Flatiron's
there.
crazy.
Yeah, bro. And it was when the Zoo York State of Mind video came out.
Yeah, I
Chaz
remember that.
Ortiz was on the brand and everything.
Josh Ortiz is dope.
Bro, yeah, he opened the closet. He was like, bro, go get what you want.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, bro, straight up in the office. I'm walking out with fucking new shoes, shirts, DVDs, decks. I'm like, so that's crazy. I didn't know you were in that world. So
Yeah, I mean, definitely West Coast vibes.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I grew up going to, like, all the expeditions for, like, DC Shoes, Alien Workshop. I didn't go into anything crazy like that,
Yeah.
but I did have homies who were tapped in with, like, Alien Workshop. So, like, whenever I needed a board, there were always, like, military members that worked with my family and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they'll pull up to the skate park and be like, yo, I got all these new Alien Workshop boards, and they would just charge me, like, $5.
That's so crazy. Okay, so you just check it out, right? So just so that everybody's clear, I did not grow up here in America. I grew up in Costa Rica. Regardless, we were so tapped into the American culture. Our streets were all fucked up, so we couldn't skate. But we would buy the cover magazines, and we would cut them up and put them as covers for our books. going to school, and we were like so deep into Tony Hawk, World Industries, hookups, blind. You know what I mean? So it's crazy to hear that I'm over there in some other country, and you guys still millennials. We're still on the same boat.
Fact.
That's a culture thing, right?
It is a culture thing.
And like that's a global impact on culture. And it even leads into like Boredom Kills and what you're doing now. Like you're trying to create your own culture. You kind of are, right? Like it's kind of spreading like wildfire right now. So tell us something about that. Like what's the culture you're trying to present with this?
So realistically, and I've spoken on this before with T-Dub, is like I used to be like a trending person where I would be like, hey, Fear God's trending. I got to buy this. I got to do this. But then I started realizing, you know, that stemmed from me always moving around, consistently having to find new friends, consistently having to just, you know, fit into a new crowd. So I was always like a people pleaser. When I started to realize that me moving to Turkey, Germany, France, like all these different places, I'm gathering culture that no one in my like peer group has. So I started being like, you know, screw this. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to be me, design things that I need to wear. Because, you know, I'm not like a billionaire. So it's like I would much rather go to a store like 151, find some inspiration, and make my own product. And so I learned screen printing and stuff like that. But Boredom Kills is basically just a attachment of me now. So everything that I have been culturally exposed to is Boredom Kills. So the skatewear, early 2000s hip hop, stuff like that, even like a lot of punk. So lately I've kind of accepted that I am white and rock is my my forte. And so I listen to these different types of music to get me into different moods for the things I'm designing for. And so lately I've been listening to a lot of early 2000s rock and just creating things based on that. And that's why I feel like a lot of people have been saying like, oh, your stuff looks a lot like ERD or like, you know, Pally and Satoshi. And it's like, ironically, we're on the same racks as them in all our stores, but I didn't even think about that.
I don't want to skip on something that you just said though, right? So you have a playlist. You've been doubling down on a whole lot of rocks 2000. What's on that playlist?
Shoot, I mean, I'm a huge Blink-182 fan.
Okay,
bro,
there we go. There we
bro.
go.
You know, honestly, I want to ask you too, bro.
I've gone to 4 Blink-182 concerts, and I don't know. I love Travis Barker. I know a lot of people say Chad Smith, right, from Red Hot Chili Peppers. They say that he's the best. I always think it's Travis Barker. I mean, dude's in like a zero gravity chamber doing drums upside down and stuff. Like, this dude's an entertainer. But I love Blink-182, Angels and Airwaves, Plus 44. You know, Boxcar
Racer.
We're going like middle school days, bro. I remember this like it was yesterday.
I listen to literally anything that you see. Like, if you were to wake up and MTV was on your TV in the middle of the night and they was doing that like MTV takeover, any of those like kind of music, like Avril Lavigne,
Papa Roach.
Papa Roach.
There we go.
Tool.
Limp Bizkit, bro. Limp Bizkit was
Red
shit.
Jumpsuit.
All day, bro.
I love Limp Bizkit.
Break stuff.
Yeah,
So,
bro.
Fun fact, Red Jumpsuit, when I started making my own money, that's the first album. Their first album was the first album I bought with my own money.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. Shout out to them. If they ever see our
Shout
pod.
Yeah, I love rock. Like Green Day even.
There we go.
Good Charlotte is pretty good too. I mean, they're a little underrated, and also Nickelback. They get a lot of hate, but they have 2 to 3 good songs.
See,
and,
this is fire because we haven't tapped into like music conversation yet.
Yeah.
So
music is culture that helps you. You know, like I have a lot of friends that ask me for advice on design, and I tell them like create a playlist before you design, because if I'm listening to the other type of music I listen to is a lot of Opium, you know, Ken Carson, a lot of that. And when I'm listening to my whole Ken Carson kind of playlist, my entire vibe of designing is way different versus me listening to rock. And every client, I'll ask them like, hey, what kind of music do you listen to?
Right.
Because I know if I'm listening to their type of music, I'm gonna get
the tone.
I'm gonna get the tone a lot faster.
Absolutely.
You know? So yeah.
I think it's funny how much I think skate culture is streetwear. Like I feel like skate culture, you know, you think about Pharrell, you think about just everything. Like everything stems from skate. Because I remember being in middle school and I used to skate all the time, bro, like religiously. And that's the only thing I wore. And like it had influenced everything I did. You know what I mean? From Nicky Diamonds. Nicky Diamonds was like one of my favorite my favorite designers back in the day. You know what I
hundreds.
mean?
Yeah,
the hundreds, bro.
Obey.
You know, and then Pharrell, BBC, and everything. I'm just like, bro, like skate really influenced fashion more than anything. And then
shout
you
out
add
Bobby
punk.
100.
100%.
Yeah.
Those are the people that are in the streets. Even if they're like a horrible skater, they're just using the skateboard for commuting. Like,
Yeah,
they're still
bro.
in the streets. And I feel like another thing that people don't really realize is cars. Like, cars are also an attachment to your fashion.
Yes.
Like, I told Fads, you know, I've never been into like chains and watches and stuff, but what I've been into is cars. You know, like Japan culture, the JDM. They
Yeah.
always have really nice cars, and you go and stand next to a car, that's an accessory right there.
It is,
Yeah.
bro.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so you're going to love this. So they just recently left the 25-year ban. I don't know if you've seen the market just getting flooded by GTRs,
That's
V-specs,
crazy.
but the American market, unfortunately, they overkilled it. You're
Yeah.
going for
Crazy
about
prices.
150K.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen if you try to get one of the R34, like I think it's like the V2 specs, the blue
Yep.
one, it's like 1.2 mil.
Yeah, they're expensive. bro.
1.2.
Yeah, the ones that are like
then you-
fully decked out, yes.
But then you got to get it over here. You got to pay
My boy
to
Q
make it
has
street
one.
legal.
My boy Q has one. It's so
No,
fire.
they're pretty much street legal. Yeah.
So that's why I've mentioned a 25-year ban. They weren't allowed
Yeah.
until then. So now you're seeing the 98s and 99s coming through.
Yeah.
And the 2000s, which are the most iconic ones, they're getting lifted December of this year.
it's so crazy.
Yeah.
I think
market's
one thing I'm
insane.
excited about in the car industry is like I hate electric cars. Like they're so weird. They're just weird.
so quiet.
I should not be able to hear myself think that much. Like, that is crazy.
That's real.
And like I said, I have ADD. So me thinking in my head as
Yeah,
I'm driving, bro,
yeah.
oh my
Bad,
God.
bad news.
Like, it's like mega mind. But
Right.
there has been, I want to say it's Hyundai. They're revealing different types of cars, like a rally car, and like I think Nissan's bringing back some like Yakuza kind of car and stuff, and like that is how you should be doing it,
Yeah.
like bringing back the heritage,
Yeah.
not just making yourself, you know, bro. Teslas, as cool as they are, they look like jelly beans.
They do now. I think
know.
about it.
Hey, I got one, but in a year I put close to 35,000 miles. Before that, I had an M5 V8 twin turbo, and I was fucking loving it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't loving
that
the
gas.
gas bill at the
Holy
end of it.
shit.
Yeah.
That'd be
So-
nuts.
Well, did y'all see the new all electric Challenger?
Bro, I can't
don't know how
get
I
with
feel
it, bro.
about 'em.
I can't. I heard it. I'm just like, it sounds like a robot. Like I can't get with it, bro.
It has the speakers.
Yeah, bro.
It's for me to get with something like that. Electric cars, you have to be a new company.
Yeah.
You're trying to convert the iconic V8s to now electrics and all of that. You
Doesn't
lost
work.
me. You lost me.
no,
You
I don't know.
lost
I
me.
saw it on the road, dude, and it looked cool. And it almost, the front end kind of gives me DeLorean a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I kind of agree. Like when you're trying to, American muscle's a thing.
Bro,
for
that's
a
what
reason,
it
right?
is, bro.
But
American
it's like-
muscle.
It's the
Exactly.
whole factor of having a fake exhaust sound.
That too. That too.
There's no
That's rough.
reason for that.
So
bro.
I've got a Stinger,
okay.
and you could actually like there's an option to put more sound to the exhaust.
Mm.
I turn that shit off.
Yeah, I would too.
I turn it off. Like it's the same thing. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel or sound authentic.
Yeah. No, it's like all it is basically like a little like microphone inside of the muffler. And so it just opens up the valve where it has the microphone. It just
Okay, you guys want to take it way back? Roughly about, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You're talking almost Temu version
You're talking about
of
like
something.
the whistle.
Yes. So I had a 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse.
Dude, they clips were my shit back in the day.
And,
Fast and
and
Furious.
I mean, realistically, I always wanted to have a car with turbo.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, my money's wasn't there. So I find this video where this like blower thing, you put it in the
They're
muffler.
illegal, by the way, now. They're illegal.
No, well, mine didn't even work. Mine didn't even work, man. You know,
Yeah.
those videos where they're making fun of people when they order shit online and the
Yeah.
expectations
The
just
Timo-
fall.
Yeah.
I was there. I was that.
So I'll tell you, I did something even worse than that. It's actually way funnier. I had a Corolla, right? And I was
Shout
like,
out to Corolla gang.
I was like, yo, I'm gonna soup this up. Like it was a cool
Yeah.
little Corolla and everything. It was slammed, whatever it is. And I was like, man, I need a turbo. And everyone's like, the compression ratio, like you can't
Yeah.
turbo it or else you're gonna explode this car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what can I do? I go
yeah.
on eBay, right? eBay Japan at that. they're selling these fake plug-in turbo whistles, right?
Bolt-ons?
No, it's literally like, you know, like an OBD3 sensor or OBD2,
the plug,
whatever it is. Yeah, you plug it in and you wire it all the way to the engine.
Yeah.
And you just have a button. So when you're downshifting, you press the button and it's like, it just does the sound. I was like,
my God.
bro. It was the funniest thing. I took it off
crazy.
after a week. I was like, this shit sounds so fake.
Yeah, that's
But,
hilarious.
so there's a volume button and everything.
Did you turn the volume up on that?
Yep, all the time.
Y'all gonna
I'm
hear
like
me.
going up to my parents' car. I'm like, "Soo-doo-doo-doo."
Hey, but talking about like Temu and all these like online shopping networks, right? So recently I forget what brand it was, but one of the creators in a brand was talking about how, Shein was stealing their designs and they're filing a suit against Shein.
all the time.
So like Shein, Fashion Nova, like all these big brands, they're coming and taking from, bro, not even little brands anymore.
I think a lot of people know this, but Shein and Fashion Nova, they've kind of changed their business model. So they don't actually do, it's not necessarily like a B2C, right? Where they're actually selling provided things. They've turned themselves into a Chinese Amazon, basically. So any person that has like a selling license or has product can actually go onto Shein and sell their product.
Also,
Interesting.
like
I didn't know
independent
that.
contractors, basically.
Yeah, basically. It's
I didn't
like
know
it's
that.
like going on Wish and stuff like that. You're buying from individual people. It's a marketplace nowadays. So I've literally seen all these different fakes, like whether it's foam runners or it's literally fake Young LA. And I'm just
Right.
like, why is Shein
That's
selling
weird.
fake Young LA?
Yeah.
Like that's the craziest thing. It's already affordable.
Yeah.
But
Have you ran into that yet with BK?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you
it
feel
was,
about that?
I don't care really. I don't know if you guys seen like Nego. I think it was
Yeah.
Nego. I was talking about how he actually provided fakes of his own.
The Bapes?
Yeah, the
clothes, yeah.
babes. Yeah, he built the whole warehouse for that shit.
Exactly. And then Drew Hunnage is the owner of Hunnage, right? The Hundreds? Or is it Ben?
Bobby is the
Bobby
100.
Hunnage,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bobby
I'm about to say
Hunnage.
Bobby. I'm about to say
tripping.
Bobby,
Yeah,
but I was
Bobby
like, am I saying that wrong?
I'm tripping.
You're good.
Yeah, and I remember, I think it was him. He said that he used to go to like the Philippines or Taiwan and see like these fakes, and he would reach out to people and be like, "Hey, like make some fakes of my stuff too." And it really does. It helps your momentum because a lot of people, especially nowadays in 2025, everyone buys fakes of everything. You're seeing 16-year-olds wearing Freddy Krueger SBs. I'm just like,
I mean, this is kind of how I feel about it, right? It helps to an extent expand the vision of what it is to the crowd that don't have the means to do it. And sure, while the direct monetization goes to those fake brands, the image, it's still pursuing the brand.
The brand.
Yeah.
And now they still become a walking billboard of yours.
But at what
100%.
point, if it's the brand, the quality, you diminish the quality.
And
though.
here's
That's
the thing, right? And it all depends on the market that you're at, right? If you're a luxury brand, you're targeting people that have money.
Yeah.
That eventually the people that have money will buy at your price.
From a business standpoint, right? You take the creative side away from it. People are buying it for the look, right? And if you know other people are already selling your stuff and they're making a profit off of it, why don't you create your own as close to the look as possible without having the look and still reap those benefits?
I would counter that. I would counter that someone would buy just for the looks. Yes, of course, that is a big factor. But there is a big sentimental attachment to certain brands.
Absolutely.
And not necessarily just because of the way it looks.
And go ahead.
and I know so many people who have a lot of money that still buy fakes.
Yeah.
And also, like, to my understanding, like, I don't care if anybody wears fakes or whatever, but don't flex it and don't sell it. Those are my two rules. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want some kid who is working at Walmart coming up wearing like a $10,000 outfit and be like, this is
Yeah, that's
ERD.
crazy.
This, I'm like, I'm looking him up and down. I'm like, dude,
You work at Walmart, bro.
like, come on. Like, you have a Walmart vest on. Like, that's crazy.
No, that's real.
You know, if your parents come for money and you have all this, you wouldn't have to work at Walmart.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
or if you were making something for yourself, I don't know. But that fake flex and stuff and everything, like, everyone has their own timing. If it's not your time, you don't have to fake it till you make it. Like, that's not the definition of faking it till you make it.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You know, and so a lot of people, selling fakes and all sorts of stuff. Like, I got before buying chrome, and I think Fads told me he thinks he got as well. But it's just like the fakes are getting way too good. Like, you end up spending 3 bands on a belt, and it comes in fake, but you can't even tell until you take it to a real,
Yeah.
chrome person.
Yeah.
And are people are reselling BK now? right?
Yeah.
So that's how does that feel? How does that feel to like have your brand where you're just like, dude, I got people reselling my apparel for $250, $300. That like,
It feels
is
great,
it good?
bro.
It feels good, or is it like, am I losing out on money?
Nah, never,
Yeah?
never. I actually had.
I always wondered that.
I don't remember who it was I was talking to, but I was basically telling people like, there's a bunch of brands that are changing their price points. So like, hey, we're luxury. We're gonna start selling things for $350, $400, $500, and whatever. And like, that's cool, right?
Modern day desires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they do that, and they actually made a lot of money too, which is great for them because a lot of people were talking so much mess about Jay mentioned stuff.
changing
So he prevailed, which
Yeah.
is great for him. But I will say, you go buy a Gucci T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
Just like buying a car off the lot.
Yeah.
Once you take it out of that store, it depreciates.
Appreciates.
So it doesn't matter if you sell the shirt for $10,000, it's still going to depreciate.
Right.
But if you're able to have something that you sold it for $90 and it's going on a market after the person has worn it, washed it, it's still going for
And it
$300,
appreciates. That's crazy.
it appreciates. That is what my whole motive is. Like, I don't care. I don't need that $300. Like,
Right.
we will make our money. It will be our time eventually to become, you know, a big 8-10 figure brand.
Have your own house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're trusting the process.
Right.
And I'm not going to be mad at other people making a buck. I'm going to be glad that my designs are worth more than I thought.
Yeah, that's
you know?
dope.
Versus them flopping.
Yeah. That's how I feel about, because, you know, we've been locked in, so I got some samples that y'all don't got. So I got some samples, and I'm like, bro, I'm never letting these go, because I'm like, I got some shorts. I remember the shorts you gave me, they're like, they're too small, this and that, and they got that blue crew neck. I still got that picture. I'm just like, yo, I'm keeping these forever, because like, I know like these are collector's items, bro. Like, you know, no one's ever touched these. No one's ever had these. You will never see these ever again. These
I
are
don't
from
even have them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like these are from the. That's what's crazy. Like I have people.
I like to call those one of zeros.
Yeah, one of zero. That's so funny you said it, because I have people who've got stuff from me that I'm like, bro, I don't even have that anymore. Like I wish I still had that, but I love, you know, that I feel like they're gonna appreciate. It's like a Rolex. You know what I mean? I feel like they're gonna
100%.
appreciate with value, which is really fucking cool, bro.
And I think it's crazy too how far we've both come in like 2 years.
Yeah, bro.
Like, it's insane.
It's I love it, bro. It's like the growth. It's like everything that we went through with that whole situation, you know, from the other brand. I feel like we've elevated, we've grown, and I feel like we've surpassed them. You know what I'm saying? And the other brand, and what we're doing as far as like how much we've grown individually, and our brands have grown so much. Like we're reaching millions of people now.
Like, you just reached 100K, bro.
Bro, 110.
Like, congratulations.
I'm at 110, dog. I'm about to be at 200 and leaders only probably in the next 2 weeks.
But it really is like y'all are building legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not something that lasts for right now. It's like something for the future, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like you said, the appreciation of it. It's not. And I'd imagine as a creative, right? Because obviously, like we create content here, but like you're doing something different with creating the physical that people are putting on, and like you can see someone wearing
that is
your
hard,
product
bro.
going down the street, right? So like I'd imagine the sentimental value and even like nostalgia of like, yo, like I remember where I was when I made that piece.
Mm-hmm.
Like that means something so much more than worrying about what it's reselling for.
100%. And like, one thing that I think about all the time is I was in LA about like a year ago with my homie Nate, and we were driving through, I want to say it was like West Hollywood, and there was just this big mural that Virgil had put up, and it says, everything I do is for the 12-year-old version of myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But that completely resonates with me. If you go on my Facebook account, that's my header image.
Yeah.
It's just like that quote itself. Like, no one's ever been able to put that in words, but that's how I've been feeling, you know? And so I'm like, that's the truth. Like, say it louder for people in the back.
And
Like,
that's
it's
crazy. And we all know why we laugh, right? So let's just get into it, right?
Yeah.
So 12-year-old Brando,
Yes.
tired of being bored,
Yeah, bro.
picks up a notebook. Tell us about it.
If I haven't said this already, I grew up in the military, and I ended up doing most of my growing up, I would say, in California, at Travis Air Force Base in like Vallejo-ish, California. And they had a skate park there. I was huge into Rob Dyrdek. Like,
Oh,
did
man.
everything that
I
man
was gonna
did,
ask you that
I was,
earlier.
like,
Big
you
and
see
Rob.
everything. Rob and Big, everything.
There you go.
I was just a huge skateboarder, and this was around the time where he got signed with Alien Workshop and is working on Rogue Status, working on the Fancy Factory. I'm like, dude, he's creating these brands, I could create these brands.
Hell yeah.
Forgetting that I'm 12 years old. I'm like, Mom, you gotta take me to the art supply store. We gotta get this. We gotta do
Now.
that. Yeah. And so we got some blank skateboards from Blick. And I was just painting on them. I was like, this is my skateboard. I think we still have it at my parents' garage. And I was making like my own fake signature skateboard, just faking it till I can make it.
No, that's gas.
I ended up getting signed when we moved to Alaska. I was signed by an indoor skate park and stuff. But when I was 12, I just wanted to be in a band or I wanted to make a brand.
Yeah.
So I conspired.
So
I have
cool.
like a Facebook page and everything of like, it was called VUSC Skateboards. It was like Vacaville Skateboards or something like that. And I had like my friends signed. I was making them T-shirts. And ironically, so like I had saved up, I want to say like $70 and created this design on like my iPad. And I went through Custom Ink, which I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They're like a custom T-shirt brand and whatever. I made the shirt and used all my money, and I was like, wait, I have to take photos. I don't have like a phone or anything. But when the item came in, I had my 7th grade school photos.
Yeah.
So I wore the shirt and used that as my marketing image.
Hey, that's hard, though. That's creative as shit, bro. I would have never thought to do something like that. I'm like, damn, that's
So
so
like, I have the photos still. It's hilarious. I was like huge into soccer, so I had a mohawk and everything. And so it was just a funny photo looking at it now. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to put this on Facebook. I'm going to tell people like, hey, $35, I'll get you a shirt made and whatever. I sold 0. But
that's how it be.
it was just like, that was just the spark of it. I was telling T-Dub, like, it was 2012, and I had just met a designer of Nike SB, and that's kind of what created my whole life. Like, that sparked my whole life, was just like, whoa, like, you can be an actual, like, designer, like, an artist. Like, I always thought artists were, like, graffiti artists. Like, me and my friends would go and spray paint and stuff, and I'm like, I didn't know you could actually get paid for this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that basically just sparked it. So from 12 all the way on to finishing high school and everything, I was designing whatever I could.
Yeah.
My high school soccer jerseys, I was telling them like, hey, if we need soccer jerseys, I'll design them. I did that. High school senior year, I made the Life of Pablo T-shirts for our high school.
That's fire.
I was just making whatever for free. I'm like, hey, I just want to be a creative. I want to build a brand. I want to do whatever. And Boredom Kills ended up becoming Boredom Kills when I graduated college, because I had been working a job. I had been going to school, in and out of relationships, stuff like that. And my best friend came to visit me, and he was like, yo, you are out of college. You've got a really good job. You have a lot of free time. So, like, why don't you pick up building that brand that you always wanted to? And so that's when we found that notebook, and I had flipped through the pages, and I just found, like, in bold letters, Boredom Kills. And so the B stands for Brando, right? And then the K stands for my best friend, Khalil. So there's, like, a little bit more into it.
Wow, that's
stuff
dope.
like that.
Like how personal it is.
That's so
fire.
cool, bro, to have such
That's
a
cool.
story for a brand.
That's
You know what I
cool.
mean? Like, that's so fucking.
I want to touch on something very important. Over here, we constantly highlight the fact that people get blown away with the end product of what they're seeing and what they're consuming, right? Right off the bat, we're identifying that you've been doing this thing from 12 years old.
Yeah.
You touched on a very important relationship. You met an SB designer.
Yep.
Let's not skip that. Number one, how did that come to fruition?
Yeah.
And what did you bring to the table in order to make that relationship work and not feel like you were just extracting from him?
So I was 12, so I really had nothing to offer him at all.
Nothing but time.
Yeah, nothing but time. And so what had happened is we lived on base, and my little brother, he was probably about like 5, 6 years old. And that's around the age where parents start teasing you like, oh, you're hanging out with a girlfriend, that's your little girlfriend and stuff like that. So we start hanging out with their family, and they had 2 older children. Can't remember how old they were, but they're probably around our age now. One of them was a spokesperson for Fuel or Fuse TV, one of the like skateboarding kind of TV shows that was like MTV's rival. And then the other one was a Nike SB designer. And so we had just ironically sat down at a table in Lake Tahoe about to eat, and they were just telling me like, oh, by the way, like he designed for Nike and this, like, I'm like, tell me more. Like,
Yeah.
what does he do? And
Intrigued,
they're
yeah.
like, yeah, I know like this guy, I know this guy, you know, like he knew all the skaters.
Yeah.
Basically, he designed for like Stefan Janowski and like.
I was gonna rock the Janowskis today.
I remember when those came
remember
out.
those
And
dropped.
I don't know if you guys know, but like, so Stefan Janowski, he is from where I used to live, right?
Okay.
So if you look on the tag, on his Nike tag, it says Vacaville, California. That's the skate park that I used to go to every morning before I would go to school and stuff like that. And so I know a lot of people who have come out of that skate park, a lot of people who have come out of like the Bay Area and stuff. Just, it's a beautiful skate park, but it's super crazy because like I've met him a couple times. I've gone to some of his expos, and like my whole childhood was just chasing around these pro skaters and going to their expos, whether it's like Red Bull, Monster, whatever it is. I had to be there because I had to meet them. And so one of my favorite photos is me being 13, meeting Rob Dyrdek for the first time. And so I have a signed skateboard. I have everything. So
That's
I'm sure he won't remember it, but someday I'm gonna meet him. And I'm gonna show
most
him the
definitely.
photo.
Rob Dydek's a beast. He's
Yeah.
he's like, I watched some of his like podcasts and like the way he talks. I mean, he's like locked, like
Oh,
locked
yeah,
in.
100%, bro.
It's crazy.
If you watch like his series over and over now, you realize like how locked in that guy was.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Yeah.
You know, his whole like ridiculousness. He pitched that like 10 years before. Like he pitched that when he was doing Robin Big.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I saw
Like,
a documentary on it, and they were
it's
talking
crazy.
about like, bro, we talk about personal branding a lot here.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know. I feel like he's one of the OGs of building like such a lucrative personal brand
100%.
off of just friendship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like if you're in the skateboarding world, you knew who Rob Dyrdek was before,
Yeah.
like the Alien Workshop videos, like the DC videos, so on
Rogue
and so
status.
forth. Yeah, but
And all
then-
pop culture knew about Robin
Yeah.
Big. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And it's like,
huge.
especially like, I think we relate here because like being on the world of like and skateboarding the way we were, it's like once you start seeing a skater go from like, oh, this is Rob Dyrdek, the skater of, he's sponsored by these guys. We're like, whoa, like he's on TV now.
Yeah, bro.
100%. And what people don't understand as well is like he was an entrepreneur 1st, skater 2nd, and he would
Yeah.
not do a deal without gaining percentage of that company.
So that's actually what I wanted to highlight. I met Dyrdek when he was the skater, air quotes, the fuckhead, and you know the clown and all of that. But more and more, I started getting into the whole entrepreneur, coaching side of the business aspect of content creation. And Rob Dyrdek is
Genius.
yes, a total beast when it comes to entrepreneurship.
He doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah, he's one of the first, like, I would say vloggers. Like, Robin Big, like, they had MTV Cribs. They
was.
had, like, certain stuff on YouTube, maybe.
He had his own show.
Yeah, he had a reality TV show
was a vlog.
that was basically vlogging. You
And
know,
then just
things that people
friendship.
do. People are getting content houses today to do the things that he did in the
did,
2000s.
yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. If you really, I didn't even look at that until like on my mind is blown. I'm like, he was really doing this before it was actually like a thing.
Yeah, like him and then Bam Margera too.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen Bam Margera recently. He's like gone full recovery mode and he's like super cool guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's starting to build a community again.
Would you put him in
Which is
BK?
100%, bro. Bam is
Absolutely.
I think that'd be
childhood.
fire, dude.
Oh, bro, he was
I
OG.
think that'd be fire.
His TV show on MTV with his uncle Don Vito and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
bro.
man, I feel
My
like
first
all
ever
of them,
skateboard was a Bam Margera Element board.
Bam
He
Margera
was
was my
an
Tony Hawk
element.
go-to player, man. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like these individuals, these characters, literally paved the road. I mean, like, look at the inspiration that you've got. Look at us in different fucking
Yeah,
countries,
bro.
completely aside. Yet the whole culture, it's aligned.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's crazy because I remember growing up watching the Element video and I couldn't wait for Bam's part.
Yeah, I had all of his
Yeah.
DVDs, all of Tony Hawk's DVDs, all of Rob Dyrdek's DVDs.
Because
See,
you knew
that's
it wasn't
wild.
just going to be skateboarding.
Yeah.
You gotta do some wild shit. Yeah, bro.
It's
Jackass.
like stupid stuff in the back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's super cool.
So like, I'll ask this, right? Because obviously we believe in the importance of a personal brand. To you, what's the importance of like being Brando, but also being Boredom Brando? You know what I mean?
I feel
by that?
like I've kind of merged both together, realistically. As far as it goes for like Brando, I view myself and I tell everyone that I'm a regular guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have 20,000 followers, but that was just by the algorithm helping me
got
out and
blessed.
stuff like that. I got blessed one day. And, you know, some people meet me and I'm not going to lie, like it's not every day, but sometimes like the other day I got stopped at my apartment because someone's like, wait, you're Boredom Brando, right? Like, just had a whole conversation, and they're like, you know, smiling ear to ear. And there's certain people who have asked for photos and stuff like that, and they'll be like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I'm not like, like, I hope you know, I'm not like the president of the United States or anything.
It's like a
like
regular
Just Brando,
dude,
bro.
yeah.
Like-
And so I always invite people like, hey, like, text me. Like, I'm willing to befriend everybody as long as you're a good soul. We can meet up. If you have like aspirations, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge person of like, when you get to the top, bro, it's lonely. It's so lonely. So I would much rather do my due diligence while I'm at the bottom, making my way up, to start bringing people. Just be like, hey, bro,
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome, bro.
you're not a follower, but you're a friend. And I want you to be, you know, up there with me. Like, you're a good soul and everything.
He's always been that way.
I love the fact that he's saying that, because we could loop it back to the previous episode. Fat said we got started to tap into high level net worth people just by simple sending a DM.
Yeah.
That's how I got started. Sending a DM. Okay, it wasn't one DM, right? Like the work, you got to put in the work. There's a whole lot of you get seen. You don't even get open. But if luck is on your side, you'll probably get a chance to have a DM with Brando. Boom, a relationship gets started.
And something's gonna hit.
Do
Something's
not
gonna hit,
underestimate. Do not.
9 times out of
underestimate
10,
that.
Brando's gonna answer. You know, he's never gatekeeped anything from me. He's like, he's always been like, T, what do you need, bro? What do you need? And like, I love that because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like having that type of like humbleness and you know, and just self-awareness of who you are, and to know that you're not bigger than anybody or anything, because bro, like, you really have like celebrities, bro, like big. We're not talking about like just regular, you know, like influencers online. We're talking about like real, like NFL, NBA, Kai's, Dukes, bro. You have like, dude, like the list goes on.
The
like
big ones.
your resume
The big ones.
is you and Fad's resume is just like, it is. You guys can have all the right in the world to be like, do I talk my shit? But you guys don't. You know what I mean? And when you absolutely could, but you guys are so like so humble. Just like it's just like, you know, just some everyday shit. But like, that resume is huge, bro. And I know other people, if they had that type of resume, they would act the complete opposite of how you and Fad's at.
And the thing is like, I don't know, it could also just be like me consistently building my relationship with God, but like I've really
Amen.
like gotten with Philip Anthony Mitchell.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you guys listen to his sermons or anything, but that guy is aggressive. Like, he loves God.
Yeah.
And so he said something yesterday, and he's like, bro, I don't care about your followers. That's not getting you in the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
Like, what's getting you in the kingdom of heaven is your character and how you're willing to, like, you know, do stuff. So
I love that.
Duke has 5 million followers and Kai has 10 million followers. I don't care. I'm still going to send that DM. I just still going to send that DM.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so many people get like that anxiety and like shake and sweat, and is like it's such a pleasure to meet you, but it's like
Human.
they're human. They don't have a special power or anything. Like, they just had a different journey, and their time came before everyone else's. You know, everyone has their own timing and stuff. And so I feel like if you get past that, bro, like,
Absolutely.
there's nothing separating you
Absolutely.
from other people.
You get started, you get the relationship started with the Nike SB. You're mentioning that launched you forward and all of that. What do you have to tell that designer, that creator that just keeps showing up, but they cannot break through?
I feel like, honestly, it goes back to kind of like what I was telling you guys earlier, is like, you can't care about what other people are doing. You can't care about what other people are saying. People's opinions don't matter. People's, you know, the way that they dress don't matter. Just figure out who you are. You know, like I said, like, I started realizing that Boredom Kills is not supposed to please everybody. Really, it's supposed to please me, because it was a passion project at first. It wasn't a brand. And so I make what I like. If people don't like it, other people do, and it still sells out, you know? And it might not be for you, but we have our people that it's good for. And so people need to understand, like, you might make, there's months where I've made $0 and I've actually been negative. And there's months where I've made $20,000. But I trust the process regardless. Whether I have no money in my bank account or I have 20,000 in my bank account, I'm acting the same, because at the end of the day, it's just between you and God.
Absolutely.
And you just have to understand, like, you know, if you feel stagnant, if you feel a certain way, ask 5 good friends that you have. Like, ask your homies, be like, hey, realistically, what do you think I could change? You know, like, get their opinion, and do not be a closed-minded person. Be as optimistic as possible. Be like, they might tell you like a certain form, like, oh, I think, you know, you're drawing or you're doing this. Maybe you should paint instead, or maybe you should try a different medium. Like, I've been seeing so many actual artists lately doing like suitcase work. They're doing, you know, painting everywhere, because in reality, the world is your canvas, right? Like, I don't have to be subject to just doing clothes. You know, I could be making shoes. I could be making other things. But a lot of people as artists, they look at it as like, this canvas is my canvas and that's all I can do. You know, it's like, think outside the box. Like, everyone's always told us as creatives, like, dude, I can come and paint a mural right here. My homie out there he painted on my Louis Vuitton bag. And, you know,
saw that was gas.
So much different things. Like, whatever you want, like that ladder back there, you can paint and make art out of the ladder. Like, so many different things. It doesn't have to be just pen and paper. Yeah.
So I got a question to go off of that. So, because I've always said this so much, and like, especially people I talk to about creating clothing brands, and like I told you guys all know, Leaders only started as a clothing brand. That was my goal. That was my whole thing. I love fashion. I wouldn't say I'm a fashion connoisseur. You feel me? So I immediately realized that wasn't my lane. So I switched it to turn it into merch, because it was easier to do, and it was just a representation of my brand. So my thing is for everybody out there that's watching that wants to, you know, create a clothing brand, would you say that you have to love it? Like, you have to love clothing, you have to love fabrics, you have to love art, you have to love, if you want to create an actual real clothing brand that actually tells a story, because I think a lot of people get the thing misconstrued that like, oh, I can just put designs on the clothes and then make money. I'm like, the margins in clothes aren't that great. You know what I mean? You have to do a lot of units depending on your brand and you know, how much you love it. So like, my question, I guess, would be like, for people out there, is that you have to actually love it, you know what I mean? And not treat it like you
have to be obsessed with it.
Thank you. There we go.
Be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even a mental thing. You know, it's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You know? There's so many days, just like Kobe said, like, if you don't want to do it, do it.
Right.
If you feel like you're going to fail, still do it. Like, it does not matter.
Right.
All that matters is that you're getting reps in.
Right. Yeah, that's
you
real.
literally just have to do one extra thing a day for you to progress. Just don't feel stagnant. When you feel stagnant and you're not doing things, that's when you don't have progress and you actually degress progress. And so, realistically, you have to be obsessed with it.
Agreed.
That's all it is. It's just obsession. Like, I've been obsessed with clothes since I was a kid. I would go to Zoomies so much. Like, this is actually hilarious. I went to Zoomies so much, and I was a 13-year-old kid. People started thinking I worked there. And like, one of the managers I got really cool with, he was like, low key, like, if your mom wants to drop you off and go to work, you could work here. I'm like, I'm 12, bro. Like, I'm like 12, 13. I'm like, you're tripping. I was like, I will. I know what everyone's doing. Like,
well, I mean, I want to know what kind of aura you're having as a 12-year-old kid to convince a manager at the store, be like, hey, man, you could kick it. You could be an employee.
I would say I was a delinquent. I was a real skater. I was a skater, didn't take no for nothing. I'm like doing stupid stuff at the skate park, real stupid. And I don't know, but it was hilarious. I had like moms coming up, be like, "Hey, do you know where like the DC is?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's back there on the back corner." Like, showing her and everything. Like, it was just funny, and like the manager would say stuff all the time. And shout out Zoomies, cause
for real, I used to go to Zoomies religiously.
You know, I want to step in the world of creativity, because I too attempted at a clothing brand.
Who hasn't, man?
Yeah. Well,
I've attempted several.
So like, I've still got like designs and shit on my phone. Like, I've had samples, everything, and it's not only about obsession, right? Because obsession is one thing, but having a process, and a creative process. Because even as creators, we fall into that rut. We were actually talking about that earlier. So we talked before the camera started rolling a little about your process and how you use specific tools to kind of support that. And we talked about giving a little free game. So if you're cool with sharing that, bro, we would love to hear that.
Of course, yeah. If there's any area of like free game that you guys want, my head is a huge sponge, so I can go for days.
How to make mockups? Yeah, how to make mockups with AI.
Okay. First off, I'll touch on like, I feel like everybody's created a clothing brand, but one thing that's never been touched on is the fact that I think people need to understand the world doesn't need another T-shirt.
Yes.
Right? And there's a lot of people who are upset about it, but they say it in a wrong way. They just bash people. And so what I think is like, people don't need another T-shirt. And the way that you could take it is like, look at T-Dub. He's selling a book, and he's selling it very well. We could use more books. We could use more figurines. We can use all sorts of things. If you want to be a entrepreneur in the fashion space, create anything. Pillows, Murakami.
Yeah.
You know, we need things like that are cool, and you're gonna make so much more money.
Right.
But let's get into the mockups. The mockups is kind of hilarious. But if you guys don't know, I am also a freelance designer. I work with a lot of brands, and one of my biggest things is creating products for other people. They sometimes have very crazy expectations. They'll be like, oh yeah, I want, this crazy idea. It'll take me about like 3 days just to make the item.
Right.
Not even the design or anything. And with ChatGPT, I found that I can create whatever I want now. Like legitimately, I'll take a pair of sweat shorts, a picture. I'll be like, hey, remove the design on it, make it camo, and then I want it to be like rigid cut seams and like just make it look different. And I showed you guys that was shorts, and that's what came out of it. I'll ask it to make me some track pants. It's made me track pants before. It's made me hoodies, jean jackets, flannels, whatever it is. All you have to do is go in there, give 2 references of like what you're looking for, and just a full paragraph explaining exactly what you need.
Yeah.
It'll create different renditions, and until you find what's right. Like, it can come up with plaids. It can come up with literally logos, everything. So, I mean, I feel like no one's ever talked about that.
No.
Yeah.
And I feel like people, like, need you guys to understand in the audience is that these are just mock-ups. You still got to add your flavor and your sauce to them. You know what I'm saying? So, if you, again, he's freelance. So, if you guys are looking to get some design work, tap in with my boy. I'm sure his information will be in the description. You know what I mean? A little promo.
And the thing is, too, right? It's like, we've talked about it. Like, and I'm sure you agree with this. ChatGPT AI is just a tool. It isn't 100%. Who you are. Like, you are still the sauce.
Yeah.
But
100%.
if it can give you a baseline to give you a platform to boost you somewhere else and make your job a little bit easier, why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, as well, we speak on. We always say that AI is just foundational. AI is just to kind of spark the creativity, and then. How was it that we said it last time? Great artists.
Oh, good artists copy, great artists steal.
It's the same thing. But see, now realistically, you're not stealing from another person.
Yes.
You're stealing from the AI. So now.
You're stealing from your own thoughts.
Exactly.
That's what's crazy.
Exactly.
It's able to cut my design time down significantly so I can take on more projects and be capable of showing high resolution things to
I feel the beauty of us creatives is, if you really think about it, we're not only creatives, but we're resourceful.
Yes, that's what it is.
And we're always on that how can I, rather than, okay, it is what it is. I guess I'm just going to move on to the next subject line.
100%.
Well, I think the how can I is important, right? Because what I found is when I'm using ChatGPT for the various projects that I work on, it's like sometimes my thought is just stuck and I don't know where to go from here, right?
Yeah.
So then I just put those into ChatGPT and it almost puts it in words for me. It's like, bro, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Especially when you've trained your bot to your agent to know who you are and your voice, it just makes it easy.
I know we're speaking of fashion over here, but just to give you guys a quick game as well with the AI situation. Right now, landscaping companies, what they're doing is they go in front of the house, they take a picture of the house.
Yep.
And what used to be a week out to render 3Ds and mock-ups and this and that, now can you please give me 15 minutes? Yes, boom, take a picture, go back and give it a little prompt here and there, tweak it up real quick, boom, here it is. Do you like it? Yes, let's get to business.
That's insane.
And another thing that you can do for your business actually is there's 2 different open AIs. There's open AI for us, the consumer, and there's a business one. So if you actually log into the business one, it's the same login as your regular OpenAI, ChatGPT. It has sections for you to actually import data. So you can actually import all your core values, everything about you, a brand voice, like literally everything and anything. The more things that you add into it, the better. And so I've done this.
Yeah, same.
And so
Did it with
now,
my personal one.
yeah, so now whenever I create stuff, it speaks to me in my lingo.
Yep.
It gives me my tone of voice. It knows what I want to create because I showed you guys those like 50 items I created.
Yeah.
I import all those and it knows, you know, a little bit of like what I want.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, he's created these 50 different types of products. This is what I need to be giving my output at.
They know how you think.
Yeah.
Now.
But I do want to make sure that people know, like, do not use AI to be lazy. Like, if you're a lazy person, it's just like, oh, yeah, I took on this client, but I don't really want to do it, so I'm just going to have AI do it. Like, it doesn't work like that. And if you're using it to be lazy, you will find that you're, like, ChatGPT is not a god by means. You still need human, you know, interaction to create stuff. And if you do that, you're going to be creating some bad stuff. I've been seeing some really bad designs on Instagram lately.
Bro, the designs that I'm seeing from people, I'm like, you guys, like this, you know, I get it, but like, this does not look good. You know what I mean? And I'm not a hater. You know what I mean? You know, it's subjective. You know what I mean? Design is subjective. Art is subjective. You know, what's ugly to someone might be fucking beautiful to somebody else. But I'm like, there's a fine line. I'm just like, dude, this is like, it looks like AI's prompts, you know, there's certain things that they all look the same. You know what I mean? So it's like you're using ChatGPT to make these images and these designs. I'm like, you need to at least learn how to prompt better. You know what I mean? So it's at least it's a more specific to your brand. I can tell when there's a broad AI design. You know what I mean? I've seen it so many times. Like, bro, this is very broad design, bro. And the colors and the text, the fonts are all the same. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm like, it doesn't look real.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of something you touch on. It's like once you pull it out, you still have to do the work, right?
Exactly.
So have AI teach you how to use Photoshop.
Right.
You know, and
there's
and
so
work
many
that.
different things.
Yeah.
I've had it create me, you know, content strategies. I know you've spoke on that before, and like you can do meal plans, you can do anything and everything.
Yeah.
You can create your actual own products if you wanted to.
Yeah.
There's different ways that you can create like AI agents to build certain stuff out. Like it has to do with a lot of code.
Yeah.
So if you're a code savvy person, you could be a millionaire tomorrow.
But even then, if you don't know code, there's certain AIs. Man, I was hearing this the other day on the Diary of a CEO. There's an application.
Yeah, no,
that
dude, lovable
replay
development.
Something. It's very similar to that. It's
put in
just
your prompt.
drag and drop. And you tell the GPT what it is that you want. You could even do mockups, SketchUps, take a picture so they can see where exactly you want the things. It's
100%.
crazy.
The thing about these AI apps, though, is that like they know what they're doing. They know the average person that's using these. They're gonna do it. So like you have to keep prompting and keep paying for prompting because it's AI. So like, okay, but we have different tiers. We know this person. Okay, we're gonna say this is an issue that you can't. That needs to be fixed. That counts as a prompt. You know what I mean? Because I've been creating multiple different AI apps that I have. Y'all see soon. And so I've learned that I'm like, okay, this is how they get people. So you do. They say it's easy. But you do need to have some type of coding experience to be able to integrate and put everything together so it works smoothly. You know what I mean? Because like these apps you can use, like lovable.dev, it'll give you the basic, but you still need to think about the cloud from all the people and from the
hosting and all
the
that.
hosting, the servers,
right.
having people's profiles. You know, that's what I'm ran into now because I'm creating a fitness app. You know, that does multiple things, but it was a lot harder than I thought it was. But now, because me and my developer have been running into problems with the cloud, with being able to, triggers from the OpenAI, the open source. Like, there's just so many little things. So I think it's so interesting. I think if you really dive into AI and the apps that you can create right now, just like you said, you can be a millionaire tomorrow.
100%.
Easily.
The only thing you really got to pay attention to is the trial and error testings.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to notice your work. So if you're copying and pasting and something's broken and it doesn't work, you have to be able to look into it and be like, okay, what are the errors, which line and stuff like that. Like the attention to detail of being able to troubleshoot things is really what people have to pay attention to. You can drag and drop and copy and paste everything into it. It's just if you don't have that kind of sense of troubleshooting.
I agree with
That's
that.
what I have with my guy right now, my
totally
developer
agree
right
with
now.
that.
That's what I've been going through. I've been sitting on this app for a month. He was like, oh, I get it done in a week, 2 weeks. Boom, problem after error after error. He's like, okay, bad. Next week, error after error, error after error. He's like, I want this to be good. So like, we just come up with different errors. You got to find different things to like solve these errors. And so, yeah, there's a lot to it. You know what I mean? But I think if you can learn it, it's like I want to put it in front of my son right now at 5. You know what I mean? Because I want him to learn this type of stuff right now. Because if I can get him to learn this at 5, you know what I mean? Where he's the most adaptive and the most willing to learn and pick up stuff easy. He can learn this that by age 10, 12, he can have his own AI apps that he's sold at 12, be a millionaire because the boomers don't know what the hell they're doing.
Dude.
You know what I mean? So you can sell them, any business to sell them this product, be like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. But this 5-year-old or 12-year-old kid knows because they've been studying it for so long. I think we're in a beautiful time.
Yeah.
I really believe there's no excuse to be broke. I really, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't, you know, there's no excuse.
Too many resources at this
There's
point.
too many. There's tools, resources. Hell, I show people in my community how to get paid just to rate people based off their looks.
Yeah.
Literally on TikTok Live, people will pay just for you to tell them if they're a 10 or they're a fucking 7. They will gift you.
It's so
They will
crazy.
gift you. My boy makes. I taught my boy how to make it, bro. He makes thousands of dollars doing it, bro. Every single day. It's ridiculous.
I mean, bringing religion into it again, like one big, huge quote that I've seen that I kind of live by now is that every day you're born with 2 gifts, or you wake up with 2 gifts. And it's a chance and a choice. God always gives us these 2 gifts. Every
Amen.
day. And so you got a chance to wake up this morning. You made the cut, you know? And then 2, you got a choice to, you know, either dwell on negative things that happened yesterday or positive things and get the money.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Solid.
So
I love that.
Those are like, that's basically like the 2 pillars I live by. You know?
Absolutely.
And
That's interesting, man. Because like you said before, you've got so many people on your line, right? So many, and like there's so many different influences, and they might not all be positive, right? So I imagine even keeping your morality day to day, being in those rooms and having those opportunities, like especially like, yeah, you're just Brando, but also you're not on the same level as everyone else. Like there's so many things you're into. So how is that making sure like you keep your morality and keep with God throughout your journey, bro?
Realistically, I mean, I have strong morals to myself.
You do.
I understand like who I am, what I want out of a person being in my circle. And, you know, as welcoming as I am, my circle still is fairly small. I have to deal with a lot of weird stuff. And so realistically, you know, don't take my kindness as a sense of weakness.
Absolutely.
You know? And so I'm constantly, you know, very aware of my surroundings, noticing things. And so if someone just gives me a weird vibe, I will back away.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to just be like, yo, bro, F you. I'm going to go like leave or anything. You know, I'm still going to be polite, be like, yo, bro, I got, you know, a phone call I got to get to or something.
I'm a big believer on energy for sure.
And
Yeah.
it's just like there are so many demons that no one knows are living around us, so much negative energy. And everyone thinks that the devil is going to come at you with horns and he's going to be red and scary. But in reality, Satan is the most beautiful angel. And he's going to come present you as the most beautiful thing, something that's very obtainable, something that you really want. It could literally be like, you know, Warner Bros. Coming to you guys tomorrow on a podcast deal. Be like, yo, bro, I got $10 million for you right now. You know,
whole
you
360
gotta look
deal.
at it and be like, you know what? Is it a good deal?
Yeah.
Am I getting scammed or what is it? You know, it could be a deal with the devil. You never know.
Absolutely.
And so good money comes, but bad money also comes.
I love that. I love that. And you know what? That hit home. Recently, I shared with the boys that I felt God was testing me in terms of my integrity. We onboarded a client that we shouldn't have onboarded, but at the time we didn't know about this client until one of my circle, shout out to this guy. I don't want to say his name, but he pretty much told me this is what they're doing. This is their history. Be careful. This and that. And it was like a $60K deal.
Yeah.
That was happening. And it literally, it felt like I knew it was going to take the agency to the next level. I knew it. And at the time, I honest to God, it felt like it was a test. Yeah. And I sat on it. And I thought about it and the money, you know, and growing the team and my business. This is exactly what we've been looking for. I talked to my father. I talked to my wife. 2 of the most important people in my life. And I just prayed on it. And the following morning, I just got up with this whole, number one, gratitude. And like the first thought that came to mind was God has always provided without the necessity of compromising who you've been.
Amen.
Exactly.
And it's time for you to let him go. 100%. And I had to make a phone call, 5 minutes. You know, everything ended well, nothing crazy, but you know, God is good, man. And I know big things are happening. We're flying out to Texas next week. It's going to be crazy. I made an investment in the same thing. I prayed on it. And I said, God, not only did I lose this client, I know you're testing me still. I'm going to make this investment because I know you will provide. But please send me a client that I have in the pipeline and make it close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you, just to wrap it up, I promise you, the day that I was feeling all messed up, I was under the weather, I prayed on it, I slide the card, 3 hours later, I get a client telling me, Steve, send me the invoice right now, I'm ready to pay it, call me.
God is good.
Got on the phone, sent the link, and I always tell the team, we don't count money until it's in the bank.
Yep.
Yes.
Money was in the bank.
God is good, man. Amen.
God will always provide for you.
Absolutely.
No matter what. And like, that's another thing is like, God provides lessons and blessings all the time as well. So, you know, you might think of something being like, damn, like, God, why do you do this to me? It's like, because he was getting you ready for something. If you didn't go through this trial and tribulation, you would not be able to take on the blessing that he's going to give you. Because, you know, you have to go through these lessons. You have to go through these different trials. And you have to understand your character cannot be broken easily.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because then the devil's going to be able to intertwine himself. You're not going to know good versus bad.
Right.
So.
I was trying to tell people, like, listen to God, man. Listen.
It's one of
That's
our
my biggest
it's
thing, bro.
one of our pillars.
We did have
Yeah.
that conversation.
This in faith involving God, it became one of our pillars. Before believers, not religious, but believers. And I don't know if you kind of know how this whole thing got started.
Yeah.
I've known T for 6 years, have never tried to sold him anything, just build relationships, supporting LO to wherever extent I could, always showing love. And them two on the back end, for months, they've been trying to get a podcast going and like just trying to put things together. They've been praying on it. I've been praying on it because I also wanted to start something very similar to this, to have cool people like you, showcase them what it is about. I sent a DM.
Yep.
It's like, yo, my boy, the space is open. LO is more than welcome to be here. If you ever need to shoot anything or if you're even open, I'll sponsor your podcast.
Dope.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's crazy because we talk about this all the time. We were at the point we were going to rent out one of those Lux
Yeah, storage units.
storage units. And we were going to run LO out of it
Yeah.
and do the pod out of it and just do our own thing. We're going to invest our own money and everything. Because we had a couple other people like, oh, like you could use the space, but it kind of fell through. So it's like we were about to pull the trigger on this.
And then that's the beauty of it is like it didn't turn into an us podcast. It was no like Leaders Only is cool, but then it turned into No Days Offline, and it went from Costa being a sponsor to being a part of it.
Yeah.
So now we like everything we do is it's even between all of us. No one there's
Just
no
trusting that process.
Yeah, bro, and it was like
timing.
how it all happened. It's all God's timing, man. And it's just like when, like I said, we started listening to God, we started talking about it, and we're just like, yeah, bro, let's all do this. This is our project. You know what I mean? And it's been so cool to do. It's been so much fun, man.
It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of fun, and these conversations are amazing. You know what I mean? I'm glad that people get to hear, are going to hear your story, and your relationship with God and everything that you've done. It's going to inspire so many fucking people, bro. So it's really cool. Like this, like I said, God, I've just been listening. That's been my biggest thing. We've had a conversation today. He was talking to me about what he wanted to do, and I was like, bro, what did God tell you to do, bro? What was the first thing that thought that God told you to do? What was that first thing? Do that. You know what I mean? I think that was my biggest thing. I recorded a YouTube video last night, and I was like talking about it, and I used to hesitate. You know what I mean? I used to like think like, nah, God, I don't know about that. I'm like, no, I used to hesitate. Now, like when I started like really truly listening and not hesitating, as soon as he told me something, I just act. It changed in the past. Like it just changed a lot, bro. Like a lot of things have changed just since that little thing. So like now my big thing, that's like my thing. God, I'm listening.
Yep.
I'm listening. You know what I mean? Whatever you're telling me to do, I'm going to do. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to just do it because I know you're going to guide me in the right direction. You know what I mean? I'm just following your plan. Whatever your plan is, whatever time you want me to be great or whatever time, I'm going to listen to you. You know what I mean? So that's really helped a lot in my life.
And it's I'm going through a change right now, just like with everything in life and like path and like those words. I fucking hit him the other day. Like, yo, like I got to talk to you, bro. This is what's going on. And first thing he said, whatever God's telling you, go right now. Stop waiting. So it's a powerful thing. And
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful when you are able to surround yourself with, and even if it's small, the misconception is I got to have a big clique, people follow me around, and I got to be the main point of, nah, man. Yeah. The smaller your circle, the more special. I kid you not, man. We speak every single day.
Yeah.
And
Every day.
we're always bouncing. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with you and Fads and whoever is involved with BK and all of that is like, bro, like you're talking the same language. So now you're synchronized versus some other people that, yeah, man, he's my dog, he's my dude. I roll with him just because I've known them for so long. And yes, that is cool, but sometimes you're just not on the same path anymore. Yeah. With them, we talk about God. We talk about, progressing. How can we help each other make more money? I was sick. And he happened to be on the west side, and he's like, yo, my boy, can I stop by, do you need anything? Can I bring you some food or anything like that? I was like, nah, man, thank you. That's a blessing. I prayed for many years to finally start, and even here behind the cameras, you guys can't see, but like I got a group of my camera guys. They're fucking phenomenal. And little by little, as long as you start stepping into your shoes, into the shoes that God made you walk, you're going to start attracting the right people.
Absolutely. Exactly. We're so happy to have you here, have Fads here last week. Yeah. Bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Cause that's what we want. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? I don't want, I don't care how much money you have, who you are. If you're not a good person, bro, you're not coming on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? I value true, genuine people, bro. People who genuinely care about people, don't care about what they have or what, they're, just genuine. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the type of environment that we've created, and that's the type of environment we want to keep. You know what I mean? And so like you're definitely one of those people. You and Fads have always been just good people, man. Just solid, just good, genuine people. And like I love that about you guys, and I appreciate you for definitely, taking the time.
And BK is always part of the NDO family, man. We gotta get something in here of y'all.
Yeah, we got. I knew you guys making toys soon.
Dude.
Probably.
I think Fads talked about giving us a 99 shirt and frame it. I said I was gonna frame it up. So
yeah, that would be sick. That would be sick.
That shirt. You were the first person to model it.
I know, bro.
Okay. So since we're talking about the 99 T-shirt, I want to get into that.
Yeah.
I want to get into that whole thing. So he was the first one that rocked it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going on that story.
Yeah. So this was what, like 2023.
Yeah, bro. Jesus, 2 years. Good Lord, bro.
Yeah.
Time
so
sorry, God, I miss your
a lot of people don't know, but Fads and I, we weren't always business partners in BK. He actually had his own brand called TTP. And we were connected through mutual friends. But slowly but surely, I was going over to his house a lot, and I moved up from the white kid that's coming over to Brandon, to then his business partner. But it was super funny. I think CEO said, he was like, yo, for some reason in my phone, you're like Brando designer, like something funny. I was like, what the heck? But we did this photo shoot very last minute. I think you have the clothes still. It's like the blue shorts.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I had told Fads, I'm like, yo, bro, can you come do the shoot with me? I know like we have a meeting anyways for your Trust the Process. And he was like, yeah, sure. I didn't know that it was Ramadan. And I didn't know that he was, he was indulging in Ramadan. So I'm having this man in the summer heat playing basketball with another guy that's indulging in Ramadan, and they're like actually getting real mad at each other, and they're like best friends. It was LB and Fads.
Yeah.
And so like we have the video footage. It's so hilarious. But we had this whole talk. I was wearing his chain at the time because he was playing basketball, and he was like, you know what, I could really see you wearing a chain like that. And I was like, no, it's definitely not me. Like, I don't know. And he was like, no, like there's something special. Like, I really would leave TTP on the table, Trust the Process, and come with you. Like, just let me know what I got to do. Like, I see a huge vision on BK. And so we just, like, took 6 months to build that. We came out with the 99 tee. We came out with the Bored as Fuck tee. We came out with, like, the sweats and certain stuff like that. And that 99 tee was actually based off of one of my friend's T-shirts. One of my friends popped up on Pinterest. And so I was like, damn, that shirt's nice. I want to create it, whatever. So I created it. And then I was thinking, like, the back, I don't want it to look exactly like a jersey. Yeah. What can I do? And so I was just, like, thinking for, like, 2-3 days, like, quotes. But I'm, like, seeing all these quotes on shirts. And I'm like, I don't want to copy other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that. And so I just had this idea of, like, my mom always said, like, I know, like, you care about being online, but make sure you're still happy in real life. You know, like get
That's
off
powerful.
your phone when we're traveling. We're in Hawaii. Why are you taking videos? You know, like,
Right.
go to the beach and actually have fun.
Yeah.
You know, and so I started realizing, you know, we're the last generation
Yeah,
that
bro.
played outside. You know, all of us skated.
Yeah.
Like now it's like out of 10 people, one person's probably a skater. The rest of them have skateboards,
Right.
but it's never touched the ground.
Right.
And so it's like that is a huge quote now that we've kind of built into the brand on multiple items, basically just saying like make sure you're happy in real life, not just on social media. And that kind of built us a little sense of like a little attachment of like, okay, we also stand for mental health now.
Yeah.
And okay, now we also stand for like, you know, unplugging from society. You know, we built the unplug t-shirts, and then we are now creating these like oxymoron kind of idea t-shirts. Like the unplug from society t-shirt has a bunch of like weirdos and like I wouldn't say like weirdos as much as just like people who don't fit into society.
Characters,
Yeah.
if you will.
People for BK, I would like it for people who, you know, like it's weird if you're not online. It's like you don't have an Instagram, bro. That's weird.
That's weird.
You know?
Right.
Like we want to attract weird people. You know,
Right.
unplug from society. Do you, bro? Don't do what these guys are telling you to do.
Yeah.
It's like I agree a lot with what your mom is saying, but I think what's the word? Is it boomers?
Yeah.
It's because they grew up without it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's they grew up without it, and now is just whether we like it or not, it just became
It's the world we live in.
already. It's a vital part of what we just do.
Right.
But you got to understand to an extent, like, okay, so I had this talk with Fad yesterday about these influencers, right? And I'm sure, like, you guys know the fashion influencers, like Valentino and all the guys in New York and stuff. And so he had a phone call with somebody, and they're like, yeah, all they do, bro, is they wake up, they go get coffee, and they're shooting content, like, all day. And just like, you know, the Cook family, they shoot a lot of content. Like, all these people around me that shoot content, STG and everyone, they're making money, and they're growing a platform and everything. And to me, I just don't think I could do something like that, because it's like, if I'm spending my whole day just making content, I tried the last week making content, bro. and I'm just like,
It's a grind.
I mean,
Like,
shit. I own an agency, and I struggle with making content. So
like, at the end of the day, there's an equilibrium, right? Like, I know that Laro and all them have a happy balance. They aren't just making content from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You know, they have time where they're taking time to spend with family. And a lot of these new content creators don't realize, like, burnouts, especially like a double burnout, is going to kill you. Like, you're really going to quit and get a 9-to-5 at that point. But it's like, you have to just have that equal balance of, hey, bro, I'm just going to go see the city, go hang out, not be on my phone, just have some headphones in and, you know, ride a bike through the city. Because, like, a lot of these experiences, bro, you don't realize you only have one life.
Yeah.
And you only have 1 year being at the age that you are. Like, eventually you're going to be, you know, in your 50s, seeing your kids live through your lens. You know, like, you're going to be pushing them. And I think that's kind of what my mom did, because my parents joined the military at 17. And so they're like, we didn't really get to experience most of these things. Like, you know, they retired. Like, they did 20 years each and stuff like that.
Shout out
And,
to them.
like,
Thank you
it
for
was
your service.
just like, I don't know. Like, I think they're telling me, they're like, don't go to the military. Make sure you're living your life. Become a skater, a clothing brand owner, do whatever you want. Just trust that process. Do not do that, because they just want to make sure that I'm happy. And I want to make sure that our viewers and everyone know, like, don't just kill yourself over content.
Yeah.
While we're still on the influencer topic, right? We talked about AI. Now we're talking about influencers. Let's go ahead and merge both of them.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
crazy.
so okay, you guys are exactly know where I'm going with this, right? So we have the ability now to technically create AI influencers, and number one, they could work 24/7. You don't have to deal with no bullshit attitudes of thinking that they're all of that. So where does Brando see this whole space going in the fashion industry?
So there's a lot of pros and cons to it. I know there's this one business, I want to say it's called Air. It's an AI-generated phone call person. So it's a phone call rep, and it's not robotic anymore. It actually has a whole backed AI cloud that it can, like, pull answers from or whatever. So it sounds like a real person, and you can do, like, voice chat boxes and all sorts. And I feel like that's beneficial. But to a certain extent of people creating all these different fake influencers and fake internet personalities, it's like 50-50 to me, because it's like, you're losing that human interaction that you get. You
Yeah.
know, you're starting to fake narratives, fake scenarios, and spread fake gossip or different things. And it's like, yeah, this is cool entertainment, but at the same time, like,
There's a level.
And like, you're not going to see those people in real life because they're not real people.
Right.
You know?
It's
And,
it's
like,
brand new technology. Well, not brand new. You know, it's brand new hot topic.
It's
I guess.
refined. Yeah.
Yeah, because the
it's actually
technology has
ruined
been
people's
going.
lives too.
Yeah.
It's been going for years. But for example, when it comes to like this whole AI influencer situation, the major worry is that there isn't enough regulation, right? So we don't have enough regulation to still, yes, social media has certain things like, oh, activate here to let them know that it's AI and whatnot. But for example, the beauty of it, and I was listening to this, again, shout out to the Diary of the CEO. They were talking about AI, and Steven is going back and forth with, I forgot this gentleman's name, I'm sorry, but they said when cell phones came out and laptops came out, that's the point where work followed you everywhere.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, you would just go to work,
Come on.
do your work, and come home. And you would just have to wait, right? So now as they're telling you, oh, with a cell phone and with a laptop, you could work from the beach. Sure, cool. But now the argument is work always follow us. Where I'm trying to tie it is AI with AI agents and automations and AI influencers. I believe there will be a place where there has to be a whole lot of
Regulation.
yes, regulation, but
Maybe like
I don't-
restrictions.
yeah, I don't know how I'm trying to bring together the thoughts, but it would be some sort of like regulations, restrictions, but still you're getting your time back.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean, your cost too. You think about, well, it's like, it's weird. It's a double-edged sword because they're like, okay, I got real models who are influencers. You know what I mean? Because you have a set models that you use a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you can't replace them because like of their personality, the way they dress, the way they pose. They just wear the clothes where it's like, it just fits your brand. Can we get to a point where we can create an AI influencer to replicate those same images based off
absolutely.
of?
100%.
But what would that do?
We're not there yet. It's scary.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's scary. Like look at what has happened in the advancements of AI in terms of the past 2 to 3 years.
Well, it just reminds me of like, remember growing up, they had that online game, the IMVU, however you say that.
I think so.
It was kind of like an online version of The Sims. Everyone created their own like avatars and
I don't remember
just,
that
like,
game.
lived in this world.
I gotta look it up when I get home.
Yeah, it was all like online based. And
Yeah.
You created your own avatar and people like lived online. And it's almost even what the NFT was supposed to go to.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they're doing with GTA.
Yeah,
dude,
Virtual real
GTA
estate
is gonna be
virtual real estate was hot for a moment. I started looking into buying virtual real estate.
Oh yeah, I thought I was flexing. I was like, I'm gonna go find somebody's mansion, like in this NFT world. I'm about to buy all their land. They're gonna have to buy it back.
And like Nike was dropping shoes that you can buy in these VR worlds. But like, I think realistically, when it comes to models and stuff like that, replicating humans is like, to me, it's weird. It's
yeah.
like, bro,
Yeah.
if you're a $1 billion company, you can obviously afford someone to just do something. But I think like, say if these Yeti and these Bigfoot videos that they're starting to do, Bigfoot vlogs and Yeti TV or something like that, those are hilarious. And those are things you can build a whole business off of, right?
Yeah.
So say with like Leaders Only, if you want to start doing UGC content, go to like a 3D artist that can create you a mascot.
Mascot. I was just about to say mascot.
An actual mascot, and create content with the mascot.
Yeah.
Because then that's personal to you, and you can still do UGC however you
Right.
want. But like that mascot video will definitely skyrocket and build you something that no one else has.
It'll hit harder too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically, companies have mascots in itself. Right now, we're just making them virtual.
Yeah, making them virtual.
Like imagine if Target had like the Target dog speaking and doing vlogs.
Bro, that shit would be, dude. You should pitch them that. Like, you guys need to hop on that because that should be funny
Hey,
as
just
hell,
have
bro.
walking through the store.
Yeah, like
Hey, yo guys, was good.
Ronald McDonald just, you know.
That's hilarious.
that's actually smart, bro.
Like
That's
they
actually
could literally make McDonald's videos with like The Burglar. They got like
Yeah, bro. They could do all that
stuff, and,
shit. They need to
it could
tap
be a
into
reality
that.
TV show, keeping up with the Kardashians type vibe.
But
Right.
you know,
All
it's
the
even
people.
You go to
it's
Ronald
like-
McDonald's crib.
It's kind of like you said. I think like the recreating people kind of makes it weird. It's funny when it's like I've seen interviews and they have like a vampire talking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That
those
stuff's
are
funny,
those
right?
are funny as shit.
But
When they're
even
like
like-
characters.
Even like our video, like I don't know, it's something about seeing the chicks say our names. I'm like, oh, like, whoa.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it was mad weird. She's like,
whoa.
I'm like, bitch, you look kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, the
I feel
fuck?
like if you're doing it for fun, but not literally trying to build the business model
Yeah.
off of it,
Yeah.
they're two different things.
Yeah.
You know? Like I've seen some brands do some funny stuff with like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I know it's a whole different spiel on how to
Yeah.
do those, but it's like that's one thing.
That's
You know,
funny,
you're trying
yeah.
to clickbait, real
Satire.
quick,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Get that, but it's like
It's become your whole identity. That's when it's like
if it
kind of weird.
yeah, if it becomes your whole identity, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like somebody make a Brando walking in with Nike. Like,
Yeah, it's like, but there are a lot of people who've gotten their lives ruined, especially high school students, because I don't know if you saw, but when they started doing the image generation, they allowed nudity,
Ooh.
and so kids were literally taking pictures of girls. Say like a girl broke up with a guy and he wanted to lash out, he would take her photo, generate nudes, and spread it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Dangerous.
There's
Yeah.
a huge lawsuit about a kid.
I think Donald Trump actually, the government just passed a law saying something like that.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
so many people were getting their scholarships taken away.
Yeah.
like, because they're underage, obviously, and so they're like, it was all the girls' fault and all this stuff, and then they started finding out like, well, Timmy over here actually is generating every single girl in this school naked and
That's
is
creep,
posting it
bro.
on Twitter and stuff, and so
That's
he
weird.
finally got locked up and all sort of stuff, but. Like, that's the dangers of it. There's always going to be some crazy, weird, like, just evil person who
Yeah.
do weird stuff.
But you know, man, this was a great conversation.
It was
man.
great.
Brando, bro, first time meeting you, I feel like I know you already, and
Yeah.
so many things to relate with. And like we said, BK is now part of the NDL family, and we're gonna find some way to incorporate y'all.
100%. You know, it was a great time, great
yeah,
conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
was
We appreciate
definitely-
the free game too.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I know we got off topic a couple times. But
Nah,
Nah,
it's good.
bro, that's good.
why we're here.
That's why
That's the
we're
flow.
here, bro. That's the flow.
That's the
There's
flow.
no restraints.
We have this thing, right, where at the end of every episode, we tell our audience, come sit on the couch with us. You know, like, let us know what you're thinking. Drop comments, subscribe. Follow Brando.
Follow Brando.
What's your socials, man?
Where can they find you?
Yeah.
So Instagram, it's Boredom Brando. I'm the only other person besides Fads that the BK account follows. TikTok, by Brando. Those are the two only accounts I got.
And one more thing I want to throw in there that I don't think we threw in with Fads. Where can they get Boredom Kills?
Yes.
Shoot. I mean, if you go on our website, boredomkills.us, you can find the store locator to actually feel it in person. We have a few stores in LA. We have 151 here. We have a bunch of stores in New York, Florida and stuff. But boredomkills.us, if you want it quick, fast, we ship every day. And yeah.
It's quality, man. That's just all my closet, man. That's all anything I rock. So it's definitely quality. Definitely, bro. Thank you for stopping by, bro, and kicking it with us and having a good conversation. Appreciate you always, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you.
Bro, we're happy to have you. We're proud of you and everything you created. We're proud of 12-year-old Brando.
Yeah.
Yep, everything I do is for my 12-year-old version, man.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
exactly. Well,
That's beautiful.
man, I hope you guys gained a lot of knowledge from this. You know, as always, every week.
We'll see you on the next one.
See you in the next one.